The sun had barely crested the Alterac peaks as Tirion Fordring raced towards Stratholme, knowing his chances of saving old Eitrig and escaping alive were slim. As a convicted traitor, he had no brilliant plan, only the desperate hope. Undeterred, Tirion stealthily navigated Stratholme's quiet cobblestone streets. Fearing the local guardsmen would recognize him, the exiled paladin kept to the shadows and stayed well out of sight. Nearing the public square, the loud voices of an anticipatory crowd echoed through the morning air. Tirion climbed into a small, recessed alcove, granting him a full view of the newly erected gallows and the vigilant knights surrounding it. A young paladin strode up to the gallows, waving enthusiastically to rile up the boisterous crowd. It was Barthelus, whose hateful presence brought Tirion a pang of remorse for leaving his beloved Hearthglen in such unstable hands. The holding cell gates swung open, and a squad of footmen dragged a huddled shape toward the scaffolding. It was Eitrig, covered in dark bruises and lacerations from his interrogators, yet fighting to keep his head raised to deny his tormentors any satisfaction. Seeing the hangman adjust the tightly wound noose, Tyrion's heart pounded. Realizing Eitrig was moments away from death, the weaponless exile frantically leaped down from his perch and pushed his way through the engrossed crowd. Smiling broadly, Barthelus ordered the noose placed around the orc's throat, declaring the creature an enemy of their people who would be extinguished remorselessly. The old orc's stoic mask slipped as death approached, and he began to shake and fight against his restraints to the cruel laughter of the onlookers. Searching desperately, Tirion spotted an old, rusted sledgehammer leaning at the base of the scaffolding. Time seemed to slow as Barthelus raised his arm to give the fatal signal. In a surge of adrenaline, Tirion grabbed the heavy sledgehammer and charged, swinging in a wide arc to dent breastplates and smash helmets without using lethal force. Surprising the young paladin, Tirion rammed his shoulder into Barthelus's gut, sending him careening wildly off the platform. When the hooded hangman rushed forward, Tirion flipped the man over his shoulder and sent him tumbling down the steps. Tirion quickly unfastened the noose, and the battered orc slumped heavily into his arms. Eitrig, barely recognizing his savior, mumbled that the human must be crazy, to which Tirion simply laughed and nodded. Tirion stretched out his hand and boomed for the knights to halt, temporarily cowing his former subordinates. Tirion pleaded with the honorable knights, arguing that Eitrig was old, infirm, and that there was no honor in hanging a defenseless creature. A bloodied Barthelus climbed back onto the scaffolding, screaming for the knights to seize the traitor. Barthelus spat back with venom, telling Tirion he was a mongrel who deserved to die right beside the inhuman beast. "I took a vow to protect the weak," Tirion growled, warning Barthelus that if they could not master their hatred, the conflict would destroy their future. Barthelus laughed contemptuously, swearing on his parents' souls that every orc in Lordaeron would burn. Suddenly, a single beating drum boomed over the square, quickly joined by newer, stronger war drums that panicked the crowd. Before Barthelus could finish ordering their deaths, a razor-sharp spear tore through his chest, and a legion of shadowy orc warriors leaped from the rooftops, raining fury down upon Stratholme.